removing any EV from their place of rest. Yeah, and it's hard for people that are not of Hawaii to really understand that. Yeah, our kupunas are sacred to us. Their bones are even more sacred to us, because when their bones are buried, the nutrients that come from their bones goes into the ground and into the plants that we plant, and then it comes into us from when we eat the plants. And it's a continuous reciprocating movement of life. Yeah, and not everybody understands that. And so it's super important for people who are not from here to understand that deepness, that richness, that manafulness of our connection to our kupuna, our relationship to our kupuna. They belong where they're at. They don't belong dug up. If I were to come to your hale and dig up your grandparents, how would you feel about that? That is not pono. No matter where you live, that's not pono. And so think about that, because if I had money, I came to you and just dug up your freaking ground. Really, what would you do? How would you feel? You need to know how we feel. You need to understand that. And the only way you're going to understand that is come talk to us. Come realize what our truth is, what our reasons are, what our EV bones could actually provide for all of us.
Yes.
Not just for me, not just for us individually, but for kako.
Yes.
Kako.
Aye.
Right? And so no, they should not be removed ever, ever, ever. Oya Valeno.
Kiko Pau.
Kiko Pau.
Pretty deep, yeah. So my sentiment, my feeling is, again, is no, should never be disturbed. I kind of touched on some things earlier. Sister touched on, Nani touched on some things. Again, if it was your grandparents, how you feel? How would you feel about them being dug up and moved someplace else? Yeah? They're in the ground for a specific reason. How are you gonna feel that way? If it was Punch Bowl Cemetery, you're gonna dig them all up, move them somewhere else because, oh, do we just feel like moving them around, right? If it was the Arlington Cemetery.
Right.
What about that in DC? What if we just come through, destroy that whole thing, dig them up, and build new buildings over there just because we can, right? Or if it's any other cemetery anywhere, you're gonna go destroy everybody in there, move them, take them away, and move them someplace else just because we want to put in a wave pool, okay? Or any other development, not necessarily even a wave pool, but any other development. But you want to take out that person that was there, that was buried, that's connected to that ground. You're going to take them away, and you're going to do what? You're going to move them someplace else. But they're not from there. They're not from someplace else. They're from here. Why are you going to take them out from here and move them someplace else? That's not their home. Their home is over here. Yeah? You got to think about that. And Sister Nani was talking about, very real. What Kino was talking about, right? You got to be aware of these things. You got to be aware of our who we are touching in our ground that we are talking and walking and living on. Who are we talking with when we do that, right? Just think about that, guys. Think about that.
Mahalo. Need the question?
What's the question? Same question.
Same question.
So,
EV, is it morally acceptable for commercial profit?
big no. Everything here is immoral. You have the state de facto non-duly voted in weaponized force that has been here since 1893, and even before that they had their eyes set on the prize. They've been desecrating other places where there's EV at anyways, and so to me the real question is how long are you going to tolerate not being heard or coming out or being one sellout and going to go work a job for the people who are desecrating even you in your psyche, which is what we were talking about before. And when you actually start to put together the facts and findings and conclusions of law, and you genuinely understanding, you genuinely want to comprehend it, there is a resounding no annexation document, which means everything that is happening, we shouldn't be crying anymore. We should be rising up super powerful, super strong, because they no moral. And if you kanaka maoli and your mom died, and you think about somebody digging them up and throwing them someplace else and putting one profit center in, and you get zero of it, and then you're gonna ham out the whole time. That's basically what they've been doing to me in my evaluation of coming home and reading for myself and having comprehension of the scenario. There is no way that money, especially fiat currency, going to a corporate entity or corporate fiction, which is a war criminal, we should not be paying war criminals to get the job done or expect that they're going to get the job done, or that they care enough about us and your families, whether you're a citizen here unlawfully or Kanaka here, or you think you Hawaiian here. These are the things, if we all came together to discuss, you would find out, wow, we all get the same enemy and it's not each other. So that's what I think about it.
Mahalo. Same consensus. Seems to be a sentiment that a lot of people share. It seems we're all on the same vibrational frequency that is being touched in their pu'uwai, and they're sharing through their leo. So mahalo you guys for sharing that. So we got two questions. One is, we're going to talk about injection wells. Are you folks familiar with injection wells? Okay, so injection wells, I'm just going to share a little tidbit. It's the use of forced release wastewater into the Karst system out here in order to dispose of wastewater. So the wave pool has proposed in their environmental assessment to you, with their attempting to use injection wells to facilitate wastewater disposal, and that would require dumping it into the Karst system. And the Karst system, as Joe had touched a little bit earlier, for those of you who are watching, our Karst system is very, very important to our Kanaka. Not only was some of them used to house EV, bones of our ancestors, but it also allowed for subsurface water, so underground water, to move from Mauka to Makai. And in that traverse of the water, it actually moved nutrient-dense matter for the limu and for that ecosystem that thrives from that nutrient-dense matter. So it's going to come through the Karst system, exit at the ocean side, and then allow our limu to feed off of it, because it will create brackish water, which helps the limu to thrive, including the nutrients that are coming down through the Karst system. But that creates nutrients for small fish species, the kala, because they eat limu kala, and then turtles eat limu, crustaceans eat limu, and it just creates this trickle effect where at the end of that is us, we eat from that. So now if the injection wells is using our Karst system to dispose of wastewater, that's going to impact the entire ecosystem all the way down to us. We've already lost half of our limu beds due to the water diversions that are happening within EWA for the development. I think their population is at 50,000 plus of homes. And you can imagine, I don't even know how water pressure is maintained in the EWA Moku with those many homes. Now, if we're going to dump wastewater into the Karst system, it's going to create a big detriment for everything that relies on that Mauka to Makai water. So what are your thoughts on their proposed use of injection wells? What are your thoughts? Do you think it's a great way to release wastewater? Should it not be considered? In general, what do you think about that? Because they can't have the wave pool because they don't have a way to dispose of water. And if that's their only way to dispose of water, I want to hear your folks' thoughts.
No. Plain no. You know. See again, the impacts, right? All the wastewater. And you're gonna put it, no. You know, you can say, no, it's not an option. I mean, you're not gonna force this on us, you know, we cannot, no, absolutely not.
Okay, mahalo.
So what I learned about being home is the state buys themselves time between the propaganda, the media, and the ability to fund projects, whether they're grants or military contracts or whatever the case. It's, from what I've observed, it's always we're trying to help, we're trying to help. If you had your toilets overflowing in your household every day, that's what you should expect will come from this. If you want to go take a shower down at the community center, you should expect due to water coming out. You should expect to drink that. If you go to the ocean, you should get mahali rod. Okay, like this is common sense. Pollution in, pollution out. And so if they keep on putting up more houses and they're not even to the bungalows, and they did 7 million gallon water pools, and there's more than one pool, there was plural. Entertainment is all I see. Yeah, and destruction and damage. So by them going in and doing this, they're going to ruin the other coral tables that are still underneath here that they haven't destroyed yet between the military and the state. And we can come back over and we can go through and we can go fix it. But to trust people that have constantly been in perpetual genocide is ignorant.
To happen. They haven't never been able to build a railway. They have never been able to build a roadway around Kaena. Why? Because it's right in that spiritual line. Think about that for a minute as you try to process and try to build your facility on a spiritual line. What does that gonna mean for you?
Problems.
Have fun with that one, bro. Plenty of problems. Just think about that. Put on, take off your Caucasian, take off your